Hi everyone and welcome back to Pause to Read. My name is Emily, and in the spirit of the upcoming exhibition Dogs of War and Peace that I hope that everyone will be able to visit soon, we are going to be reading Stubby, a tale inspired by the true story of a dog who served during World War I. Stubby is written by Kathy Boris and illustrated by Julia Mills. So everybody take a seat, and today we're going to learn about some of the service of some of America's heroes. An orphaned puppy wandered past a university stadium. He was a curious stray with a tricolored coat, a short tail, perky ears, and a square, wrinkled jaw. He was adventurous but lonely. He wanted a friend. So one day he decided to go to college. How would he get in? He crawled under the fence and hid beneath the bleachers in the university stadium. He slept there all night alone. The next day, a tremendous noise woke him up. He poked his head out to see what the commotion was all about. It was a parade of students stomping in formation. They were training to be soldiers for the United States. The puppy ran from under the bleachers and tried to march in step, but the sergeant chased him, saying, "No dogs allowed." When the sergeant wasn't looking, the determined pup followed Private Conroy all the way back to his dorm. Surprised and delighted, Conroy picked up the little pup and asked, "Do you have a name?" Looking at the dog's stubby tail, Conroy declared, "Stubby, that's what I'll call you." Stubby was happy to have a name and a friend at last. But pets were not permitted in the army. Each day when Conroy hid Stubby in his locker, when the lid propped up slightly, he wondered, would anyone find him? One day Stubby heard bugle calls. Ba-ba-ba-ba! Curious, he climbed out of the locker, jumped through the open window, and joined the marching soldiers. The sergeant was furious, but suddenly Stubby raised his paw and saluted the sergeant. "What a super dog," Conroy shouted. Everyone agreed, even the startled sergeant. And so Stubby became the squad's mascot. Finally, the day came when Conroy and Stubby had to ship out to war aboard the U.S. Minnesota battleship, bound for Europe. The ship's captain, who didn't know Stubby was smart, said, "No dogs allowed." What would Conroy do? When no one was looking, Conroy tucked Stubby inside his coat and boarded the battleship. When the ship was too far away to turn back, Conroy took Stubby out onto the deck. The angry captain said, "That little stowaway goes as soon as we reach the shore." But by the time they docked in France, the captain and the soldiers all loved Stubby and did not want him to leave. They even made him a set of dog tags. Stubby joined Conroy and the troops in the trenches to keep them company. Life in the trenches was hard and noisy. The Americans were fighting the Germans. Rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. The constant sound of the machine gun hurt Stubby's ears, and the smell of gas hurt his nose. The soldiers put on their gas masks, but Stubby didn't have one. He got very sick. Conroy rushed Stubby to the nearby field hospital. When Stubby was better, the doctor said, "Stubby should stay behind so that he doesn't get hurt again." Listening to the doctor, the sergeant's voice boomed, "No dogs allowed." "Let him try again," pleaded Conroy. The sergeant reluctantly outfitted Stubby with protective goggles. Stubby rejoined the troops. Late one night, when the soldiers were all asleep, the Germans launched a massive attack. Uh-oh. This time, Stubby's senses were on high alert. Arf, 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 he warned as he ran through the trenches, barking and nipping at the sleeping soldiers. They woke up just in time to put on their gas masks. Stubby had saved the entire squad. The next day, Conroy and his company got lost returning from a dangerous mission. Help, help, Conroy and the soldiers cried out. With his keen hearing, Stubby heard their cries. He found Conroy and led the others back to safety. Stubby was so good at finding lost soldiers that he went out on patrol every day. One time, he heard a noise coming from a bush. He sniffed around the bush and discovered a German soldier spying on the Americans. Grrr, growled Stubby, and bit the spy on the backside. For capturing the German spy, Stubby was promoted to sergeant. Stubby now outranked Conroy. The Germans were angry and they launched another attack. Stubby stuck his head out of the trenches to look for injured soldiers. Just then, there was a big explosion. Stubby, Conroy shouted. Oh no, Stubby is wounded. Conroy hoisted Stubby up into his arms and raced him to the field hospital. While the doctors operated on Stubby, Conroy stayed by his side. Would Stubby make it? Stubby was a strong dog and he recovered. As soon as he could get out of his bed, he trotted around the hospital, visiting other soldiers and making them happy. He was the most popular patient in the hospital. After the Americans won the war, Stubby marched in a victory parade in Paris. He met and saluted President Wilson. One French lady even made Stubby a coat for all of the medals he won. Back home in the United States, Stubby was greeted as a hero. He visited the White House and led many parades across the country. And Conroy was always by his side. Best friends forever. The end. So the next time that you're able to visit the museum, you have to look for our Stubby statue located on the third floor of our gallery in the museum. Stubby was a terrific dog and taught us a lot of lessons. Dogs have natural senses that help them to hear and to smell much better than we can. That really aided in service during World War I and even during World War II and today. We're also very grateful to him for his service to people while they were in the hospital. Dogs serve as great morale boosts and really can help us during difficult times. This story tells us a lot about the wonderful attributes that dogs have and how they can help us. I hope that you join us soon for another rendition of Pause to Read here online. Thank you and have a great day.